back at what it was like in 2018, and then we'll show you what we've been dealing with. So here's our Great Lake cover.
There's very little ice cover. There's a tiny bit.
That's it. Just that little nose right there. And overall, it is very, very low here around the Great Lakes.
This is the point in the season where we typically start ramping up with ice cover. And so right now we are at 1.8%. That is it on all of the Great Lakes.
So why do we have any ice? Well, it's pretty basic, right? It's been too warm. If you remember, November, well above average here. Very warm temperatures for us here all around the Great Lakes.
So is December. I mean, above average here. I mean, all of the Great Lakes region here and far above average too. And so we had 2 warm months back to back leading to now. There was just no opportunity for ice to happen.
Let's go back. To December of 2017 and then January 2018, it was chilly around the Great Lakes. And so that's why we had enough ice that was able to develop there.
Temperatures below average those 2 months leading into it. Now, here's where we are. We're this tiny little bit here in purple right here. So we're well below the typical average when it comes to ice cover. Can we catch up?
Yes, there's still time. There's still plenty of time. And if you get enough cold air, then you can do it. But
that's the key. Can you get the cold air? Because the outlook is not for a lot of cold air up in this region.
At least through the first couple weeks here, maybe 3 weeks of January, it's still staying pretty mild. So be careful if there are any frozen lakes. And the outlook, January through March, keeps pretty warm.
It does keep it above average. Now, above average can mean below freezing. It is, after all, in the north in the winter. But certainly the trend does not look good when it comes to getting, a lot of really thick ice out here. One thing this will do, though, is maybe lengthen the lake effect snow season. Will there ever be a break in it? Because if the lakes are open with no ice cover, that means they're open for business.
Right. So that means more snow for those of you who live off of those Great Lakes. So we have a question for you this morning. How are the warming winters impacting your family or business? You can answer us on Twitter or Facebook at AMHQ.
Jim?
Good stuff, ladies. Nothing like
the atmospheres that we've had over those that course of time.
So if we look at Ontario right now, there's just this one little sliver of lake that is iced over here, and we're going to tell you what implications this will have coming up at the end of the segment.
I mean, take a look overall at the Great Lakes. There's not very much ice. Lake Erie, I mean, that's the one that ices over first, right? Nothing, nada, just a tiny bit here. Overall, it is what, like less than 2%.
Less than 2%. So why is that? Why did we have, such solid ice this time a couple years ago? Well, if we look at our departures from normal in November, it's been very warm, and that's been the story, really.
November was warm, December was warm. I mean, especially all across the Great Lakes states here. This is where we saw those biggest departures from average. Your temperatures just never got that cold, or at least for that long, right? I know it got cold.
I mean, it's cold, but not, like you said, an Arctic, really long type of a chill here. So here are our departures in 2017, December 2017. It was chilly around the Great Lakes. We were below average.
Yeah, and we stayed that way for, a couple of months, and that's how we ended up with all that ice cover that just stuck. And so, that's the difference between then and now. It's all about the temperatures and the longevity of it too, because you can have 1 or 2 days with cold, but you need more than that to freeze over.
There's still plenty of time though, right? There's still plenty of time. So here's where we are right now, and notice that we usually really top out as we go over the next several months when it comes to this ice.
But is there enough cold to do that? I mean, even in January, above average could still mean freezing. However, you look at the trend, this week above average, next week above average. Do we really have enough cold air looking out to the end of the season to give us that kind of ice cover?
I mean, right now, what it's looking like it will be, warm. So what does that mean? That means we could see more lake effect snow events. So this will excite those of you who like those massive, 3 feet snowfalls in just a matter of 2 days.
As long as there is no ice cover, the lakes are open for business.
Yes.
Now, we have a question for you this morning. How are these warming winters impacting your family or business? You can answer us on Twitter or Facebook at AMHQ.
All right, Jim, I know that this is impacting snowmobilers, not having that snow down.
Yeah, I mean,
completely flip-flopped this morning when I woke up compared to yesterday. And they might again. I mean,
exactly. We're far enough away from the event so that they're trying to figure it all out.
But there's a chance.
Have fun with this.
You're saying there's a chance when it comes to snow in the southeast, and that is fantastic news for ski resorts. I mean, take a look at Sugar Mountain. So, snowfall. We just had 5 inches actually here in the last 24 hours. But the COVID-19 pandemic has upended the entire travel industry. With a healthy dose of winter weather, many people are still getting out to ski resorts. And the Weather Channel's Dave Malkoff went to Sugar Mountain Resort in North Carolina to see how people stay safe and enjoy the slopes this winter, especially this week, with more fresh flakes on the way.
implications this will have right now. But again, it's still early in the winter. We still have plenty of time for these things to freeze over. There's a look at Lake Ontario. Not loads of ice. And Lake Ontario does get ice on it this time of year.
It typically does, but not right now. Lake Erie would be another one, actually, that you typically see more ice on. It's a more shallow lake, but we're just not seeing it.
No.
We're just not seeing the cold air.
We aren't at all. And that's the problem. It's been so warm that we only have 1.8% of the Great Lakes covered in ice. And you can see that warmth. This is our November temperatures. It continued on to December.
Yes, very above average in the areas where the Great Lakes are. So, I mean, this is a spot where temperatures, while we did have some cold snaps, and I know you remember that, it just never really lasted. So you didn't have the longevity of the cold air.
And you didn't have excessively cold air either. We haven't had any of that really Arctic stuff yet. And if we look back at November, December of 2017 leading into January 2018, it was cold. It was actually below average around the Great Lakes, and so that's why there was so much more ice.
Yeah, exactly. So we had not just really cold air, but we had really cold stretches of cold air, really long stretches, I should say, of cold air. And so that's what allowed us to get that great ice cover. It's great for ice fishing and other activities out there. So this is where we're at. I mean, this year, way down here, well below average.
Yes, but as you can see, we still have plenty of time as that ice cover does come up as we head into our February and our March. But will it be cold enough is a big question.
That is the question. We are above average in the predictions. Now, not to say every single day will be above average. And we know in January, above average can still be cold. It's just there's no signs of big Arctic air coming in and just hanging on.
I mean, even now, Minnesota, we're in the upper 20s, so there's cold air, but the average is the low 20s. And that does make a difference. And you see, even through January, February, March, when we typically have that really cold air, forecasts are looking warm, which means
the lakes are open for business. That means lake effect snow. So while you might not be out there ice fishing, it could mean there'd be more lake effect snow events because without the ice cover, those
so that
Great
could make
Lakes
a lot of people happy,
open.
right? Snowmobilers. I know if you got some good big lake effect events, that would make you happy. But I know that this is affecting a lot of people's businesses. So we want to know, how is this warming weather impacting your family business?
That's right. You can let us know on Twitter or Facebook at AMHQ.
Ladies, I was going to ask you a question.